Another lockdown. Wonder where Dan is.
Dan might be the one that's from. Nope, that's Kemba Slang Steve.
I hate lockdowns.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Right down. It's all good.
Hey, everybody. This is Matt. We're at Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for watching another Thursday. Have a beer with Uncle Matt. Thing you can see my belly in this shot, so that's really good. Chris is behind the camera today. He got so tired of doing live stuff last week that he said, "No more." That's not really what happened, but
it's easier to monitor the boards from the back.
Yeah.
Is my volume okay?
The nice thing about this camera for live streaming is that you can hear the behind the camera too.
Yeah, I think it's got microphone set up on the back too, so that's cool.
Okay. Or it's
I can see little holes in it.
Oh, okay, cool. So
good.
I think we've got some people that have projects that we worked on today and are going to work on later tonight and tomorrow. Actually, Chris, did you know that?
Yes.
Doug Santaniello has a project that we worked on a little bit today.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I'm going to find it here. That's not it. Here it is. I'm going to see. I don't know if you guys can see this. Doug, this is going to be your fretboard. Look, it's already slotted for the locking nut, and we have to do the inlay still, but that's going to be super cool. Gary Redburn is here. Gary, which one was yours, the Phantom one or the Flying? I'll just show you guys those two. So here's another board for the class. This is for one of the Garys, either Gary Taffy or Gary Redburn. This is the Flying Tigers one. That's cool. And the other guy named Gary got this one here, which is very, very excellent. Okay, so this is Gary Redburn's here. That's cool. Yeah, if Dave is watching, Dave got some beer mugs on his because he is doing an Australian theme plane. And I guess in Australia, they didn't like to put, like kill tags on the planes. They like to put beer mugs. Here's one that we were doing for ours, and Jim Fuller thought it was so cool. He wanted one too. So we, because we're doing kind of a Memphis Belle theme on ours. So that's cool. So one of the things that we will probably be revealing tomorrow is how far along everything is for the Mike Learn class, because all week this week and many days last week, it was nothing but trying to get ready for the Mike Learn class. There's so much more stuff to do for that class because it's mostly paint, right?
Yeah.
There's not like a lot of.
That's what we're hoping.
Well, yeah. So the guys show up and the first thing they do is start painting and airbrushing with Mike. So yeah, I mean they're going to shape their own necks and do all that stuff, but like the bodies have to be ready to go. And because people wanted custom fretboards, it was like, well, let's kind of get these, going so that the guys will have them ready to go. Because remember, there's only 5 days. And I have a sneaking suspicion that this class is going to be lots of fun and lots of jocularity. I think
jocularity.
I think it's just going to be like, because it's going to be 6 guys.
Yeah.
You, me, Mike. There's gonna be 9 people at least. And all, of course, we're all gonna be socially distanced and all that stuff.
Yeah. And we've hung out with 3 of them.
Oh yeah, we know a lot of the guys who are coming. So yeah.
Yeah, quite a bit. And we know their personalities, and we know how much fun they'll all have together.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And I can't imagine that the other 3 won't be the same.
No, I think it's gonna be nothing but like.
A
barrel of monkeys.
The good time buddy hour. Yeah.
yeah, and it's going to be normally in classes, if you guys have come to a Texas Toast class, you will know that Matt kind of has to be like a drill sergeant at the class and whipping people to do stuff.
including me.
I don't anticipate this to be much of a whip master experience for Matt. Having said that, I added a new class the other day, and if anyone's been to the website, you've seen the new class. It's called Build Your Own Guitar, and it's basically whatever you can get done in 5 days. If you want to paint stuff, you can do that. If you want to make carved tops, you can do that. We don't supply you with any blueprint, if you're interested in like the whole, I want to make whatever custom thing I can make in 5 days. We now offer that class. We've got one set up in July, I think, and it's basically you're renting the shop for 5 days. Because we'll go, what's your plan? That's a good plan or that's a sucky plan. I mean, we'll say that. But for the most part, this is all on you to show us how smart you are. In fact, I even say that in the thing. Have you seen that?
I think you lead off with it.
I think I do lead off with it. Yeah. So you've seen it then.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
I figured you were in a particularly snarky.
I'm always in a particularly snarky mood. So yeah. But people were asking, and I got to thinking about it. I'm like, there's really no way to do this with 4 guys unless they all want exactly the same stuff in 5 days. So what I came up with was, all right, if you guys want to do this, thing where you call every single shot, and I want to make 100 fretboards in 5. Okay. I want to make whatever. That's basically what you get to do. I want to make whatever you can get done in 5 days. I'm not even going to go as far as to say it's whatever you want to do in 5 days, because you might end up with firewood when it's all, I don't know. Chris and I will be here to help, but we are not here to guide you. We are not the Sherpas in this adventure. You have to come up with it, and we're going to basically go, all right, let's turn exotic wood into toothpicks or into super awesome guitars.
Somebody may freeze to death in this class. If we're the Sherpas
in July,
there's a chance. Yeah, somebody's going to be dead.
Yeah. So Tom is watching. Tom has a cool hunk of this. Is a one-piece. It's even got a strap drawn on. This is a one-piece blank from Dan at Guitar Wood Experts. Now it looks kind of like it's got like a kind of some cathedraling here, and it looks almost like it's glued together, but it is absolutely, I don't know if you guys can see this, but there is no, that may not work.
Yeah, that works.
Does it?
Yep.
So this is a one-piece blank from Guitar Wood Experts. These are not something that are, there's not like a warehouse full of these. So he charges a premium for these. But Dan at Guitar Wood Experts, please give Dan a call if you guys need any sort of expert guitar wood. We use a lot of swamp ash from Dan. We've always had very, very good luck from
Richard.
Dan.
Richard says he may sign up for the 5 days of fun class. That's his kind of deal.
Okay, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Richard, the guy who we're doing the prostitute bass for?
Richard Doty or Doty. I don't believe so. I don't know. There's two Richards in a row.
Okay.
Yeah. Richard C says that's a nice chunk of wood. Thomas says yes.
So you, buddy.
That's his piece of wood, right?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Good.
Provided it's the same. Well, yeah.
Zotac?
Yeah. So I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to start cutting on that tomorrow, and maybe I'll get it all the way. Although, so one of the things that we have had to start doing, I'm going to get to y'all's questions here. Don't sweat it. I think what we're going to have to do is Chris has been spending a bunch of time kind of getting good at the new Inlay machine, and it takes a lot of time. And I think what we're probably going to do is we're going to set aside like one day for like Chris does Inlay, and one day where like Matt does bodies and necks and stuff like that. Because not everybody wants us to build them a complete guitar. They want like some guy called me today and he's like, hey, can you make me a kit? I'm like, well, it depends on your definition of kit, but yeah. So I think one day a week is probably going to be like, at least for the next little while, is going to be inlay and custom bits and pieces and necks and bodies and shit like that. I'm betting.
Yeah.
Do you know what else happened this week, Chris? I mean, you know what else happened this week, but you know what happened this week?
No, Matt. What happened this week?
I went and I signed the lease for the new space, so that's definitely happening. And I paid the security deposit and first and last month's rent. So yeah,
that's still a thing.
Yeah, it wasn't first and last; it was just first and security deposit. So, yeah. But there's something about like I couldn't say first month's rent without saying first and last. For some reason,
it just seems like that's the.
It seems like that's the phrase, the phraseology.
Guy, right? Yeah.
So, but anyway, because I felt good about it. I felt good enough to let you guys know that it was going to happen. But I wanted to. I'm like, you know what though? There's still a couple of things. So, but the paperwork's all signed and we're good to go. So May 1, we move into there, and that should be very, very cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
You ready for a couple of questions?
Yeah. Oh, Mike has a question. Did you see it? It's the very first one, the very first question about truss rod length.
Yeah, let's do that one.
Mike, I would say anything that you can, these days, anything you can get is probably going to be good. 16, 17 inch, something like that. That's ideal.
Yep. Yeah.
So if you can find some of those, Bitterroot may or may not have some. I don't know how many you want. I think if you could want just like one or two, I'm sure they can help you out.
EC Guitars says he did his first belly cut with the bandsaw the other day. Thanks for showing us that. Huge time saver.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and I think they actually turn out better. I like the shape of them better.
Better than what?
Than the way we used to do it.
Like on the deadhead sander.
Yeah, they turn out really, really good that way.
We've done it all sorts of ways. We've done like angle grinder with a sander thing, belt sander, rasp.
Yeah.
You know, rasp is one of my least favorites because it takes the most time. Remember we used to do where we would saw and then like chip out with a chisel the big chunks. That worked okay, but it's still like a lot of
Yeah.
Cool, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know why it took us so long to do that, or I don't know why I was so scared to do it.
Well, we had a jig not unlike that for many years.
Yeah.
We just never used it, and I don't know why.
I think it was slightly backwards. As I recall, it had a big cut in it the other way.
Yeah, you know why? Because now we actually keep the piece elevated off the table, and before we were resting the piece on the thing, and it was just we made a couple of changes that made all the difference.
As soon as we saw Mike Learn do it freehand, I went, "Oh, you just back that up with a jig."
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Maurice wants to know, what fabric do you guys like to use on your guitar tops? I have two I want to send to you for a bass I would like you to build.
Maurice, this is a great question. The stuff that they have at Joann Fabric or like Michael's or any of those craft places, the stuff they have the most of, that's the stuff that you want to get. You don't want to get like silk or like anything shiny or anything like that. Just like the most, like the basic cotton or whatever, like maybe blend stuff, the stuff with the cool prints on it. That's the stuff to get. The stuff like right when you walk in the door at the fabric place, the stuff they have all over the place. That's the stuff to get. I have not had a lot of luck with some of the other things, and a lot of guys go, "Oh, that's really cool," as me included. That's really cool. That's really fancy. I want to get that, and it just doesn't quite work. By the way, every single thing I know about doing fabric tops, I have a blog. Although my website's kind of weird right now, like the blog doesn't show up, but you can still search for. I don't know how. But anyway, I'm a guitar builder. I'm not a website guy. And I think that's what you guys like, is that I'm not, like a computer guy. I'm a foul mouth beer drinking wood dust covered guitar nerd. So in any case, everything that I know about doing fabric top guitars is in a blog. And if you do how to do fabric top guitars. That blog is still out there on the internet. You can still find it. There's a bunch of videos. But in answer to your question, the stuff that they have the most of at, like, you know, Molly's Fabric Shop, whatever the name of the fabric shop.
Even Walmart has a halfway decent supply of that stuff. Yeah. Ready for the next question?
Ready.
It's a two-duder.
Two-duder?
Two dudes are asking kind of the same question.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to combine them.
Okay.
Sweet Tea Guitars.
Hey, Sweet Tea.
And oh man, I already screwed it. And Lloyd Phillips. So Sweet Tea asks, what are your thoughts on first American walnut as a bodywood? And then Lloyd says, how is walnut for a tone wood? I've been told it's too dense for a guitar and the sound is dead.
Okay. First of all, that whole like tone wood thing, I don't put a lot of stock in the tone is dead on this thing and the blah, blah, blah. And here's what happens. You get guys who see Paul Reed Smith do this. And he taps on it and he taps on it and he goes, yep, listen, that sounds like a musical instrument right there. Well, then you wrap 200 pounds of mat around it and listen to what it sounds like.
It sounds like a door.
So I don't play my guitar like this, you know what I mean, and let the thing ring out. I wrap my big fat body around it and I play it. So the whole like it rings, it doesn't ring, I just don't put too much stock in that. Walnut as a body wood, I think would probably sound very similar to maple. Maple is a widely recognized lumber used in guitar construction. People don't seem to have very much problem with maple, so I think walnut would be about the same thing. That's
part 2 of Sweet Tea's question. Was second solid maple bodies. So now we can talk about walnut and maple as a body.
So I think walnut is super, super cool. I don't use it on guitars because I don't think it really is super, super cool on a guitar. Mostly because people go, walnut, huh? I don't know if I want that, because, you know, Steve Vai doesn't play a walnut guitar, or, you know, the Dwayne Allman never played a walnut guitar. I'm sure that there are walnut guitars out there, and I've built guitars with walnut, and I really like it. But it's not one of the handful of woods that are very commonly used in guitar construction. So I don't use it very often. Walnut is also kind of expensive in terms of wood. I think it's about $15 a board foot where I live, for an 8-quarter piece of walnut. So that's, you know, you're in the like Honduran mahogany kind of category there. Yeah.
Almost double maple.
Yeah.
So I think walnut as a neck wood is really neat. We did 2.
Yep.
And those were 2 of my most favorite guitars that we built in the last year and a half.
The neat thing about walnut is when you start to get like, you know, there's a reason they make gun stocks out of walnut, and the reason they make $30,000 shotguns out of walnut or with walnut stocks is because as soon as you start to get contouring on it, then it looks like really jam up. When it's a big flat hunk, it's like, that's just sort of a big flat hunk of walnut.
Kind of brown.
Yeah, it's just kind of brown. That's okay, but it's not particularly wowie zowie. Now, as soon as you start to put a radius on it or a profile on it, that's when stuff gets really neat. As far as solid maple bodies go, I have one floating around here.
It's right there.
Hold on.
I was hoping you'd pull this down. And there's a reason that most people don't build guitars out of solid maple pieces, despite how cool it looks.
So this is a solid maple body that Chris is doing a refinish on. This was an ESP?
Yeah.
I think.
So
yeah, it's cool. But yeah, it's a solid hunk.
Man, it's heavy.
Hunk maple. Yeah, this is
for a Strat. It
probably weighs
in on 6,
close to double what just a Strat body ought to weigh. So yeah, it's definitely cool and it's definitely heavy. But if you like George Lynch, you're gonna want an all maple guitar. Yeah, so I think all that stuff is neat. You know, you just got to figure out if it's neat enough for you to want to kind of experiment with, you know.
Yep. Doc Silton says a solid maple guitar sounds just fine to me, but it's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Doug Santinello sent us a super chat. I love Walnut for highlights like the LP Texas Toast is building for me.
That's right. Doug has yeah, it's floating around here. Yep. Doug also has one of the ones that we built with the walnut neck.
He does. Yeah, I don't even know that he remembers that.
He has a Challenger with
the Speedo Burrito has a walnut. That was one of my favorites. Josh Smith sent us a super chat. I really liked your Wood 101 bit a couple weeks ago. Learned why I like plain top Les Pauls because of the cathedraling or whatever.
Okay.
Cheers, fellas. Yeah.
Josh said that?
Yes, Josh Smith.
Thanks, Josh. Yeah, I used to be like a real, like, it's got to be the flamiest maple or the quiltiest maple or the burliest whatever, or, oh, my battery on my computer is running low. Can you vamp for a little bit, Chris?
Sure. Actually, why don't you got the thing? All right, there you go.
Okay.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about how, hold on here, fellas. I'm so out of sync with the world right now.
Our shop is in disarray.
Yeah, it is. So
general disarray.
So but I used to be like real into, and I still like it, you know, just the whole like idea of real quilty or real flamey maple. But you know what happened is I started seeing it all the time, and I kind of like, everybody's got that now. Everyone's into that now. And then I started to see fake versions of that. And you can't blame people for doing the fake version. They're trying to build guitars to a price point, which I understand. Paul Reed Smith started to make these, the SE guitars, awesome guitars. And super, when they came out, they were like practically giving them away in today money. And they were made in Korea, and they were really, really excellent. And they had these things that they were like, they had maple tops, but it was like plain maple. And then they put a veneer of flame maple on. And so it looked like it was a great of flame maple, but it was actually a great big piece of regular plain maple with a veneer on it. And you could see on the edge where like the flames didn't go all the way through. So I'm kind of over this whole like mega flame thing. So now I like a philosophy of mine is if it doesn't make the guitar sound any better or play any better, I don't necessarily want it on my guitar. So like I have learned to love finishing techniques that are, that people do in the past, but kind of a throwback to like that old school, what like Gibson did in the late 50s and what Hamer did in the late 70s and stuff like that. That's what I'm into. So what?
There's lots of chatter back and forth, and
about how sexy I am.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah. Sorry.
I'll look here and see what's up.
Too much flame starts to look almost fake or toyish to me. I think that too.
Yeah, I mean, and the funny thing is, like, when you what's that?
Somebody called me Mr. Tone
because
I'm in back of the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, like it's everywhere now, and 30 years ago you had to really dig to find that cool wood, and now it's everywhere. So it's yeah, to me it's like it's kind of overdone, and I'm over it now. But in the late 80s, that was everything was iridescent yellow or pink or something like that. So finding a really awesome piece of flame maple was that was what was rare and unique. Now finding something that is kind of plain is rare and unique, and it doesn't make it more valuable. It just makes it rare and unique, and I like that. So
Homer's Reluctant Odyssey says, I remember hearing Paul Reed Smith saying the quilted maple didn't sound as good to him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I used to think quilt maple was neat, and I really changed my tune. I still like flame maple.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna have like a really crazy figured piece of wood, to me, flame, that's what you want.
Yeah, I think so
not
too.
Not quilt, but I know a lot of guys, and that's just my opinion. I know a lot of guys really like quilt, and so yeah, have quilt. But for me, I like flame.
Yeah.
Because I'm fancy.
Colin Benson wants to know, what is the price range from least to most expensive of the guitars you build?
I build or I have built. Well, so
we build right now.
Okay,
What's
so
the cheapest guitar you can buy from us right now?
The cheapest guitar that we have right now, that's not on special, is our daily driver. You can call up and order a daily driver, and the price is, I think it's $12.50, whatever it is on the website. And right now, there's no ceiling to how much what the most expensive is. So we go from $12.50 for a base model guitar, unless it's on special, to no. Yeah.
What's the base price of a Challenger right
Challenger now? Base price is $2,500.
$2,500.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's like
pretty top tier instrument as far as hardware and everything else. You got to want some pretty special stuff to get.
Yeah, to tack
beyond that.
Well, so like if you want custom inlay, it's another. I think on a Challenger, custom inlay is $100 for level 1 custom inlay. Like blocks. Which is like if you ordered just a fretboard like this from us, it's $200. But if you buy the Challenger guitar, that's a $100 upgrade. So like, or if you wanted gold hardware, that's a little bit more. If you wanted different pickups or, I don't know.
Yeah, little tweaks here and there.
Yeah. But for you can get a hell of a nice Challenger for $2,500.
Michael McCoy says, "Out of sync with the world is why I like the channel." I think that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, do you think that we are out of sync with the world? I think we are. I think we resonate with other people who feel like they might be out of sync with the world.
Maybe with what's popular, what's the common path right now.
Yeah.
I don't know that we're out of sync.
I am.
We're just out of sync with what other people are doing. Yeah.
Hey, Dylan Talks Tone is here.
He is.
I am working on a special. I am working on a special marketing project with Dylan. Did you know that, Chris?
Yeah, I did.
It's a T-shirt.
Yep.
It's going to be cool, and you guys are going to want to get one. That's all I can tell you right now, though.
Yep.
And I worked on it today, matter of fact.
Yeah. I kind of want to ask this question. Bob Bitchin says, "Hi, dude and dudettes. Now that you got a CNC, how about some necks?"
We made necks for years.
I think he wants us to make necks on the CNC machine.
Oh.
And that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't anticipate a time when the CNC machine will be buzzing away making necks. It's not any faster. Like, how many necks do we need to make? That's really what, you know what I mean? So the CNC machine right now is not to increase production on something we already do.
Correct.
We bought the CNC machine because we wanted to offer something that up until buying it, we couldn't offer. It's not going to replace my pin router. It's not going to replace my shaper, my router table, my deadhead sander, my radius sander. People were like, "Hey, are you still going to do radiuses on?" Well, yeah, because one thing it would be it's crazy fast and crazy accurate, and I'm all jigged up to do it. So we have all these tools over here, and they're not going anywhere. As a matter of fact,
actually, they're all going somewhere.
Yes, they are all going. Yeah. As a matter of fact, here's how much stock I'm putting in making stuff with the CNC machine. I'm renting an all new side of a building to put my woodworking tools in so that they can be there doing woodworking.
So we can jam the CNC into one of the old corners where the pin router used to be.
Yeah. So
it's now going to be in the bigger wood shop.
Yeah. If so again, the CNC machine is not what was never intended to be. Let's start making fender necks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I get this question a lot too. Not just from Bob, but from other people. And they're like, hey, how much for a fender neck? And I'm like, you're not going to like what I have to tell you, because no matter what, it's not going to be less money than Warmoth. And because I don't have a Fender license agreement, it's not going to have a Fender headstock. So yeah, if you just want a Fender, so this is another thing. I kind of feel bad even saying this, but I have to say it. Strats and Tellys and P-basses and Fender stuff are not special to me. You know, they're special to you guys. That's cool, but to me, it's like they're 6-in-1. You know, they're not unique or cool. I have never liked Fender stuff. I'm very recently just getting around to really digging Telecasters, but like for me, like Strats and stuff, like that was never what I was into. You know what I mean? It to me, I come down on the Gibson side of things. So like I guess that's like Ford and Chevy stuff. Chris, you kind of come down on the Fender side of things, right?
I do, yeah.
So they have a little more allure to you than say like I don't know, what does the Gibson Explorer do for you?
It doesn't do a whole lot for me except for the original 58s and that story. But
so same idea.
I've never owned one. I've never really wanted one.
And I don't take it personally that you don't think they're super awesome. I just know that you're into some other thing.
Right.
So for me, like I don't have any real desire to start making a bunch of Fender style necks.
Right.
Because you can just get those real easy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, somebody actually said you can buy that stuff in 5 different places right now.
Yeah, and they'll ship it to you tomorrow or later tonight.
Yeah.
So
and they're all competing for on price.
Yeah.
For the most part, a little bit of quality and a little bit of price.
So I don't like to make. I mean, I'll do it. I'll make strap bodies, and I said this last Sunday. When I'm working on your guitar, it's the most important guitar in the shop to me right then. The second I stop working on it, it ceases to be the most important thing. You know, there's so much, there's 50 or 60 guitars in here that like at any given moment that have to get something done to them, you know, a little bit every week. And yeah, do you feel that same way, Chris, or do you kind of like come down on the, like, I hate this, but I got to do it? Or
no, I don't hate anything that we work on. There's things that I like more than other things.
Sure.
The funny thing is, just because I'm a Fender guy doesn't necessarily mean I like working on all the Fender stuff.
Yeah, that's another thing. I don't go, hey Chris, do all this Fender job. Yeah.
No.
Hey, you like Fender, Chris? Here, make all this. I've owned a bunch of Tellys and like even back in when I was like not even old enough to drive, I owned a Telecaster. But I didn't really start getting into them until we started making them. And then I kind of I grasped like why this is so neat. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I had an idea, but I didn't really know until we started making them. So
yeah. Yep. Jim Bucket,
hey Jim,
asks, since you guys are CNC, how long before you move production overseas to Canada?
Funny you should mention that. We actually have a deal going with Brad right now.
Yeah, guy, we can't give you his name, but it rhymes with Brad Ango.
That's right.
Yeah. He's going to do all the paint.
Was there ever a time when like stuff got farmed out to Canada?
I don't believe so. No.
I mean,
that's why it's so funny.
Is there, because like NAFTA is like that. includes Canada, right? Didn't the NAFTA thing was the North America or
maybe. Yeah, presumably.
North American Free Trade?
Yeah.
Something that, so it wasn't just Mexico. It was.
Yeah, I mean, there might be, are there
okay, yeah.
There are. That dumb Buick Regal that I owned was made in Canada.
I think Nacho had a like a GMC something or other that was
a
Canadian made. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
You guys would know more than I.
Yeah, farming it out to Canada.
But yeah, it's Canada's certainly not a third world nation. You don't have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't really usurp the indigenous peoples of Canada for cheap labor. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. We aren't gonna. I can't imagine a day where we farm anything out to anybody. If anything, we keep bringing more and more stuff in house. And
that's yeah.
And this is the funny thing about the CNC machine is everybody assumes that you buy it, you say make telly neck, and it does it. And I can tell you firsthand that that's not how it works.
Yeah.
And I don't have the skills at this point, nor can I imagine getting a whole lot more skills to be able to, because right now we're making flat things. Yeah. 2D, pocket depth is this, easy stuff.
You and I are getting a little long in the tooth too, to start figuring out how to, you know what I mean?
Compound curves and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I'm sure we could do that, but
CAD,
what? So I had this conversation.
What's the payoff with it?
Well, that's just it. I had this conversation with Jesse before we bought the CNC machine. He goes, "Well, I can see if you guys start doing a lot of carve tops, you're going to want to have a CNC for that." And I'm like, "Well, if we start doing a lot of carve tops, those are going to be $3,500 guitars. So a lot of carve tops will not mean that machine. It'll mean a bigger, badder ass machine and somebody to because again." A lot, comes with all the money associated with a lot. So that's a new machine and a guy to run it. At that point, we can build a boatload of stuff with our tools that is way faster than a CNC machine that you can buy at Woodcraft. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, the little one.
Yeah. Did you know? So the 750-pound Powermatic version of the tool that we have has the same spindle.
Does
you
it?
Only put a 1/4 bit in it. So yeah.
Well, you can put a 1/4 shaft. Can't you put a 1/4 with 3/8 cutter on it?
I don't know. Maybe.
I think you can.
Okay. Maybe.
I think we can tell it to do that.
All right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we'll start. But for right now, the goal of the CNC machine is to add a component that we were unable to offer before, and that is custom inlay. So, and Chris is totally kicking ass on that. And yeah, if you guys want custom inlay, we are absolutely happy to do that.
I have set my sights on inlay, and that's where we are.
Well, yeah, and that's what we wanted to do with it.
Someday I may set my sights on something else.
Coasters with butterflies.
Coasters with the butterflies. That's what everybody's getting for Christmas this year. Put your order in now.
Don't put your order in now.
Do not put your order in.
All right. Are there any other questions that are not?
Butterfly.
Yeah. You guys make kits and send them to Canada and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Lots of talk about, Strats and Tellys and Gibsons. And
I think I upset some people when I said they're not special to me. And I don't want to do that. But you know what? I mean, they're not really where I live. You know?
And I understand what you're saying because, to be honest with you, as neat as Gibson stuff is, and it just doesn't really do anything for me. I get why people like it, but for me, it doesn't do anything. And it is kind of like cars. You know, a lot of people fall on one side or the other of cars, and through the years, I figured out that as long as we all like cars, that's all that matters. And as long as we all like guitars, that's all that matters. And, there's not a one size fits all for anybody.
And don't get me wrong. I'm happy to build you a Strat or a Telly or a P-Bass or a Jazzmaster or any of those things. Or people do this. Well, I got an email today from someone, it was ER. And they were like, hey, I want to use like Bacote and stuff, and I know you guys won't buy that you won't source that for me because it's hippie wood. And I'm like, why would you think that? Just because I don't want to use it doesn't mean I won't source it for your inlay project. And that's it's not up to me to judge if your project is worthy of. I don't do that.
Right.
I just go, well, where I come down is somewhere different.
Mm-hmm. And I've even heard you say, oh, that's a really cool Strat. I mean, you like the shit, man. You're the one that spearheaded the Hotel Girl Essex Strat.
Yeah.
I showed up one day and all of a sudden there's a double bound Stratocaster body. I'm like, well, what are we going to do with this?
Yeah.
What were you testing? You were testing the new.
I got a new set of Strat templates. I'm like, we better check these out. So
that's code for I had wood.
I had a hunk of all the whatever it was. And
the size of a Stratocaster. That's what that's code for.
But I mean, I like BC Rich Ironbirds, and I like Kramer Pacers, and I like I like all. So, but having said that, some people are like, I love Flying V's, and that's the only guitar I want is the Flying V. Okay, cool.
Yeah, cool.
Or I love Les Paul. But like Les Paul and Strat, man, the Les Paul and Strat guys are like, if you're into Strats, it's real.
I've even as a Fender guy, I've run into the Strat, the rail guitars, and I'm like, well, Jazzmasters are cool too, and they're like, nope,
no,
get out.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So can I give you the funniest 2 responses of the day?
Yes.
Oh, I lost it.
It must be hilarious.
Keep talking. I'll find it again.
So I don't know what I'm to talk about, but
okay, here we go. Michael McCoy says,
"Hey, Mike,
you can pay a teenager to make the guitar files for your CNC." And SS says, you can pay a teenager for a lot of things. Yep.
I have. I am half a century old plus. I have been a teenager, and I have worked with some teenagers, and I don't put a lot of stock in what a teenager is capable of doing these days.
Yeah, I'll let them make those butterfly coasters.
Or if they are capable of doing it, I don't put a lot of I don't lose a lot of sleep wondering, or I would if we had let's say we had like a 17-year-old kid who was a design guy.
Okay. Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, could we keep him like, hey, well, you need to be here every Saturday at 9 in the morning.
Yep.
To do this stuff. I don't think that's a realistic thing. You know what I mean? Because 19-year-old kids have other shit that they want to do. They don't want to hang around a dusty shop, dinking around on a computer.
Yeah, and I know, times are different now, but when I was a teenager, there was no way I had the detail to do this stuff right now. There would be a lot of wasted wood. If I was even 10 years ago, I probably would have gotten irritated with this.
Yeah.
So
it's a constant battle, because you have to, if you guys are going to start making guitars and you're going to start building guitars for a living, you have to do it 100%. You know what I mean? You have to, and sometimes that's still not going to be good enough. But you have to find, there's no balance. There's no balance of, well, this is okay. No, there's not. So, and every time so I have, there's a guy, Matt, who we sent the body off to, and he's like, hey, I'm not really happy with the color on this. Well, okay. So I'm not going to go, well, tough shit. So I want to make it right. That's the kind of guy that I am, and that's the kind of guy that Chris is. So our whole idea is we don't want you to be unsatisfied with the guitar that you get from us or the part that you get from us. Now, if every single person, was unsatisfied with what we sent them, we wouldn't be in business very long, or we'd have to go, you know what, we need to stop doing this. But for the most part, everybody, that gets something from us is like happy and they want to get more stuff. What's that? Okay, go ahead.
No, you keep going.
No,
I'm laughing to myself.
So about what?
You.
What's so hilarious? You're supposed to read the things. Right?
SS says hippie wood is how I ended up with a baby sister.
Hey, it's true.
Yeah. It took me a second. It's like I don't.
Are you sure he said baby sister or babysitter?
Stepsister.
Uh-huh.
Ended up with a stepsister.
Yep.
Either way. Yep.
Are there any actual questions? Or?
Yes. If I have a bridge with a 16-inch radius, does my fretboard need to be 16-inch radius as well?
If your bridge is
12-inch, still quote work.
If your bridge is fixed at 16 and cannot be adjusted in any way, ideally your radius on your fretboard should match your bridge. Now, if you have a conical radius fretboard, that is to say, hold on here. That is to say 10-inch radius here and let's say 16-inch radius here. The radius keeps getting flatter as it goes out. By the time you get to the bridge, it's going to be 20 or 19 and a half or whatever it is. So that would be a reason where you would have a flatter radius bridge and a tighter radius neck. But to go from 12 to 16 and just 12 all the way, that would work, but it doesn't work like it's less than ideal. If you have a 16-inch radius bridge, I'm betting you can adjust it and you can have your neck be whatever you want it to be. But this happens all the time. I see this with guys who should know better. I'm not going to name any names. 10-inch radius Floyd Rose nut, 10-inch radius Floyd Rose bridge, compound radius fretboard. So you go 10-inch to 16 back down to 10, which means you have to jack the action way up and you have completely eliminated any potential benefit that you might or might not get from a compound or radius fretboard. So to truly get the advantages of a compound radius fretboard, everything has to match. And you have to have it set up right. Otherwise, just put a straight radius on your guitar. Here's one, Chris. How do you adjust the radius on a Tune-O-Matic?
You have to file slots.
You have to file slots, yeah. What if you have one that's filed too low? What do you do then?
Then you have to file the other 6.
You have to file the other 5 and jack the bridge up. Yeah, the Tune-O-Matic is a cruel mistress.
Yeah, I would. Although the original question was a 12-inch with a 16-inch radius, or a 12-inch radius with a 16-inch
bridge. Yeah, and
I would go that direction rather than the other direction. Because your outside E's, the ones that you're probably going to bend the most, are going to be a tick higher, and it'll probably work okay.
Okay, but let's say you had a non-adjustable 16-inch bridge, and you got to pick what radius your neck was going to be. What would you pick?
14.78. I would pick 16. I would pick the matching radius.
Why would you confuse everybody like that?
Because that's the way I do it.
You don't do that. So you wouldn't go 12 as like you'd go 16 because that makes the most sense.
Yep. Tool Forge wants to know, what size stock do you start with to allow for the 11-degree headstock without need of a scarf joint?
Well, I don't know because we don't use an 11-degree headstock.
That's the answer.
We use a 7-degree headstock, and our neck thickness starts at. Our neck thickness needs to be 1.5. All of our necks start at 1.5 inches plus a 1/4 inch fretboard, and we do a 7-degree headstock with that. If you had an 11-degree headstock, you're going to need more, unless your headstock is very, very short.
Yep, and we've done 12-string headstocks at the same 7-degree angle,
and we kind of run out of headstock.
We almost run out of headstock. That's a 6 on a side kind of thing. So draw all this stuff out too.
Yeah, if you had a 2-inch block You could probably get
Might
away
get it
with
done,
10-inch radius or 10 degree headstock,
Mhm.
maybe 11. I don't know. It depends on how long your headstock is. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Paul Reed Smith headstock is very short. And one of the advantages of a very short headstock is you don't have to have a super thick chunk of wood to make it happen on a one-piece neck.
Yep. That guy is super smart. That's probably something he thought about.
I would imagine that's something that at one point crossed his mind.
We thought about it. We did a 2-degree headstock one time because that was the thickness of
we
wood.
had 5/4 wood.
Yeah, 5/4 wood, and it worked. Tony wants to know, hi guys.
Hey Tony.
Cavaquinho.
Do you know what that means?
I think that's that little 14-inch scale guitar
that you were working on today. That's right. Yep.
So there you go. Yes.
Can we do that tomorrow too? Can we get Tony's neck?
We can get his fretboard done,
maybe. Like all the way done and get it set, glued up.
Yeah.
Tony, I'm gonna have some pictures for you on Sunday when you tune in. In fact, it's gonna be me going like this, only the neck will be really little. It won't be this long.
No, it won't be.
That way, because Tony wants to see what he's buying. I get it. I totally get it.
Yep. Sean Emmenheiser asks, do you guys press in thread inserts for tremolos before paint? No.
No, we don't.
No, we'll drill the holes before paint typically, unless we forget. And then what we'll do after we paint it is we'll chase those holes so that they press in.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
but we don't
what I like
press
to do,
the inserts in prior to painting.
No. Usually what I like to do is drill the holes after we've done sealer. That way they don't get too much buildup.
Yep.
And then you stand a 50-50 chance that they'll just press right in after paint.
Yeah.
But if you have to chase them, you just chase them a little bit.
You know, Doug Cook said that 4 and 5 equals 9 and 6 and 3 equals 9. They're both right. They're both different ways of arriving at the same answer.
Yeah.
So there's lots of ways to do something. If you want to, press in your threaded inserts and then paint, by all means, you should do it. Or at least try it and see if you like it.
Yep. And then, put some tape in there. That's a cool way to do it.
Just because we don't do it doesn't mean you shouldn't give it a shot.
I like to live dangerously and drill as many holes in a brand new finished guitar.
You know what I like to do is drill side jack holes.
That's the best. Yeah, as if you can
drill a 7/8 hole when the clear after the clear's been buffed to a high.
Here's a good question. Bud D asks, and it really is. Sorry. I missed. God, man, things are coming in so fast. I can't.
Fast and furious.
I can't hang on to the one. The question was, what is the thinnest body you guys would comfortably make?
Thinnest body. The Prostitute is 1 1/4. Any more or any less than that, and you run into like, well, what's the point? And two, like stuff like switches and potentiometers need to have a little bit of depth to work, so you gotta have some room to do stuff there. That guitar we sent to Dave, that Prostitute that we sent to him, the guitar that we call the Prostitute, man, that thing was rad. I love that thing.
Yeah.
Like the way everything about it was cool. In fact, I've started another one out of White Limba, and some lucky person is going to get that. But maybe that lucky person will be me. And I think it's even. It might be a little thicker than 1 1/4 now. It might be 1 3/8 right now.
Yeah.
But yeah. So imagine this: you got a control cavity cover that's recessed. So that means you got like 1 1/8 of actual stuff, and then you got a 1/4 inch top, which means you got 7/8 worth of body, and you got some of room for controls to go, like a switch, pod, wire, stuff like that. A pickup is needs to be set into like 5/8 deep. Could do it with something thinner? Yeah, maybe you could. But you asked what I'm comfortable with. 1 1/4 is about as low as I think you should go.
Yeah. Cool. Greg Pearl says,
Greg
gave us $5 and says, best entertainment anywhere. Thanks, Texas Toast.
I thank you, Greg. I'm looking forward to having. Yeah.
He also mentioned that he may be able to lay his hands on some more of that sweet, sweet walnut that he brought us last time.
That stuff was like basically rosewood alternative.
Yeah, that was awesome wood. So if you can do that, Greg, please do. Greg
is coming out for the Build a Classic Set Neck.
Yep.
And the last time I talked to Greg, he wanted to build a Greg and I are cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
He wanted to, last time I talked to him, he wanted to build a BC Rich Eagle, which I think would be awesome to have a set neck eagle with maple top and binding, or, you don't have to bind it, but you ought to, you know what I mean? At the class, I want to offer that as a thing. Like, if you don't want to bind the body, okay, you really should bind the neck. Or if you need to at least bind something so that you get an idea of how to do it,
Right. Yeah.
I need to send out a thing because I need to know what everybody wants to do, because Greg might have changed his mind. He might want to build a flying V now, and which would be funny because I'm like, dude, please don't build a flying V. And there's another guy who's coming. I can't remember. His name escapes me. He's like, can I build a flying V? And I'm like, no, keep talking, Chris.
I don't have anything to say. There we go. Keep talking, Matt. They can hear you from over there.
So I said to Greg, because he signed up pretty early. I'm like, whatever you do, don't build a flying V. And he's like, I wanted to make that. How come? And I'm like, it's just a pain in the ass. And he's like, well, I'm thinking about an eagle or something. So, but since then, somebody wants to make a V, so the Build a Classic Set Neck is cool because if you show up, and we've got 4 guys who are coming for that one, it's going to be so much fun. Doug's coming, Greg's coming. You can have a maple top, mahogany back, mahogany neck, rosewood fretboard. You can bind one thing. You don't have, you know what I mean? So these are all, you can do all that stuff if you want. What if somebody said, hey, I want to build a Telecaster and I want to have a maple back with a mahogany, but I don't want to set the neck. That'd be okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same kind of deal. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
yep. Greg says he's already building a flying V, so he's going to stick with the BC Rich.
That's cool. I love that because that's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah. We've never bound a V, have we?
Sure we have.
Have we?
Chris Ray's V.
Is the body bound on it?
Yep.
I guess it is.
Chris Barchi from Flipside Music, the Great American Guitar Store, his V.
Fabric top, and that's easy.
We've bound a bunch of V's. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A lot of V's.
All right.
Want to know how I know? Because the binding isn't long enough to go all the way around.
Right. That's right. Yeah, yeah. I have a love-hate relationship with sanding flying V's. Mm-hmm. Parts of them are really, really easy, and other parts are so easy, it's easy to mess it up.
Yeah, yeah. So, you can get it dorked up, and that's
dorked.
So, Chris, what's your favorite BC Rich?
What's my favorite BC Rich?
Yeah. This isn't hard.
Really, it's the Mockingbird, but I really want to say the Virgin.
Okay, that's just like a super strat, or like a
Okay. Yeah.
I always like the Mockingbird a lot. Mm-hmm. I like the Ironbird. I'm gonna go with the Eagle and the Seagull. I think are my favorites.
Yeah, you always talk about those two.
The Seagull especially, like, was just like crazy. I think the Eagle is actually really, really neat. We should build more of those.
Yeah. Doug Cook wants to know if an Explorer is acceptable for the set neck class.
Yeah, that's fine. I just need to sourcing maple for that though, Doug, that's a lot of maple.
It's a lot bigger swath.
And it's not like it unless if you want to build an Explorer, that's cool, but don't be surprised if you get a 3-piece maple top. Send me an email, Doug, if that's what you want to build.
Yep. Greg Pearl says his flying V has rear mount pickups. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Marks B77 asks, what's the best way to align the neck and body of a What's the best way to align the neck and body of a set neck guitar before routing the neck pocket?
The hot setup is to get center lines on both sides of the body and neck, so that when you, and then lay the neck on the body and clamp it, and make sure your center line lines up over here and lines up over here. And, you know, start just you're just going to have to measure a lot of stuff, you know. The easiest way to do it would be to make your neck mortise straight, not have any angle to it. So like a fender neck is wider here than it is here. If your neck mortise was straight, was, let's just say for the sake of conversation, was 2 inches here and 2 inches here, then there you go. That's easy to line up.
It's only going to sit in there one way.
Yeah, it's only going to sit in one way. And if it's 2 inches and 2 inches, it needs to be 1 inch from the center line on either side. Now, the downside to that is no one's neck is 2 inches all the way, you know, but you could make the mortise 2 inches and the tenon 2 inches. And so imagine if this was your neck and it was 1 5/8 and 2 1/8 at an angle, and then stayed 2 1/8 straight all the way out. You know what I mean? So it came to its widest point, and then stayed exactly the same from here to here, 2 1/8. Then you could make that plop right in, and that, you know, that would be a way to do it.
Yep.
I don't. That's probably not what he wanted to know, though. That's a really tough one to do.
I'd shim it up with equal size shims or tape or anything I could get if it's that loose. If it's
no, I think he hasn't routed for his neck pocket yet.
Okay.
He's got a neck. He's got a body. He's fixing to route the body to accommodate the neck
and body of a
so you want to make sure you have the center line on the end of the neck and the back of the neck, and the center line on the side of the body and the top of the body, and line everything up and clamp it, and then just kind of check everything. You know?
Yeah. So
there's a reason that Gibson used that mortise and tenon, and it wasn't because it was easy to use. It was because it was easy to route for.
Yeah, yeah. So if you have a body with no center line and you have a neck, mount the neck and do a bunch of measurements, and then create the center line with the neck and go from there.
Yeah.
That would be my advice.
Yep.
All right. Lauren Court asks, any spots left for the set neck class?
There are spots left for the set neck class. I think there's going to be one more set neck class.
That one's been pretty popular.
Yeah, the set neck class for April is full. Okay. And I think and there's 1 or 2 spots left for October. And I think we're going to add a summer set neck class. What do you think of that, Chris?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. So yeah, if you guys want to get into the set neck deal, let me know. I think I'm going to add some more classes. So
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, our time is up.
Okay, guys, we've got to go back to making kit guitars and letting the CNC do everything.
Yeah, I'm going to push play here in a minute. We'll chunk out 4 or 5 by morning. Gotta get that automatic feed working better.
That's right. Yeah. So, guys, thanks for watching. I have a lot of fun with these, and I hope that you guys do too. I've got some super, super exciting stuff to talk about on Sunday too, by the way, Chris.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Don't tell me. I want to be surprised.
Well, here's what I'm going to give you a hint.
Okay.
Dee Snider is the most subtle lyricist of all time.
Okay.
Okay. All right, guys.
Point, go.
Yeah. No, this is going to be me ranting about Twisted Sister lyrics.
I think we've done that before.
We're going to do it again.
I hope to participate.
Okay, guys. So thanks for watching. It was great to hang out with you guys and have some beers with you.
Apparently, our video feed wasn't all it could be. We had comments that your new camera looks awesome, and then I think we dropped out a few times. I think we had some speed issues.
All right.
We may have to not run everything off of.
We may have to not run everything off the
Wi-Fi.
internet. Okay. All right, guys. So this is Matt at Texas Toast reminding you that life is short. You might as well have a cool guitar. And if you're so smart, build it yourself. That's what I did. Thanks for watching, you guys. We'll see you in a little while. And if not, we'll see you next Thursday. You know we'll be back before then. All right, guys. Take care. Have a great weekend.
See ya.